Welcome to the 7th part of the Taylor Swift Folklore Cardigan tutorial series. Today we'll be tackling our right front panel. That will be the panel that's on the left when the cardigan is laid flat. Before we get into our right front panels, I want to show you how to weave in your loose ends. This is the part which most knitters despise, but I personally find it very fun to do when done in small batches. So instead of doing it at the end like what most people would do, I like to do them after I'm done with one panel. For this, you'll need an embroidery needle. Thread in your loose end into the embroidery needle. There are a lot of ways to weave in your ends, but I like to do the zigzag method. Find a stitch that's closest to the loose end and sew it through on the wrong side of your work. A stitch would look like a V. Then go into the next V in the opposite direction to create a zigzag pattern. Doing it about 3 times would suffice, but I like doing it more times to make it as secure as possible. You can tug on the fabric a little if your loose end bunched up your work. Then cut your yarn as close to your work. Repeat this for the rest of your loose ends. The loose ends should not be visible on the right side of your work, but just check back occasionally to make sure it's turning up as how you'd like. To prevent the loose ends from showing up on the right side, I usually weave the same colors of yarn together. So the black loose ends would be weaved in with the black stitches, while the brown loose ends are weaved in with the brown stitches. Pull and stretch on the fabric a bit to loosen your work if it got tightened. If the yarn is pretty long, you can keep it to use for scrapbooks like seaming. This is the finished product. I forgot to do the tail at the bottom, but your work would end up looking very neat. You can barely tell the loose ends are there. Now we'll start on our lower ribbing for our right front panel. Cast on 44 stitches or however many you need for your size using your main color yarn. If you use the long tail cast on method for your left front panel, I would recommend you do the same for this as well so it's identical. Then knit in K1 P1 rib for 13 rows, changing colors as follows. For row 14, you're going to knit the whole row with your main color yarn. Then for row 15, we will be setting up our stitches for our cable pattern stitches. Next, we'll put in our stitch markers to indicate our cable patterns. Again, for size 2XL, 3XL, remember to knit in your edge stitches. Now we'll work on our cable pattern. All abbreviations will be listed down in the description box. The right front panel does not have the center cable, so this would be an 8-row pattern instead of the usual 24 rows. You're going to repeat the 8-row pattern until your work measures 12 inches or 30.5 centimeters from the beginning of your work. Then end on a wrong side row. Next, we will shape our neck. The shaping for our right front panel is slightly different than the left panel. First, put in a stitch marker 11 stitches from the right. Work in patterns as established until you reach that stitch marker. Then purl the next 2 stitches together. Work in pattern to end of row. You will have 43, 51 or 59 stitches left. You will repeat the neck shaping row every 4th row, 14, 16 or 16 more times until your work measures 15 inches or 38 centimeters from the beginning. End on a wrong side row. Then we will start on our armhole shaping. We are going to shape our armholes. If you are also on a neck shaping row, remember to work that row as well. We will be restarting the row count. Knitting your first and last stitch for your edge stitch. Work the rest of your stitches in the pattern as established until the end of row 1. Bind off 4 stitches for your armhole, then work the rest of the stitches in the pattern. Once you're done with both the armhole shaping and the neck shaping, you will have 21, 23 or 25 stitches left. Then work straight in the pattern until you have reached the specified measurement for your armhole. Now onto the shoulder shaping. Starting on the right side, you will work in patterns as established to the end of row. Next, bind off 5 stitches and work in patterns as established to end of row. You will have 16, 18 or 20 stitches left on your needles. Work in patterns established for the whole of row 3. Bind off 5 stitches, then work in pattern for row 4. Bind off 5 stitches again, then work in pattern for row 6. You will have 6, 8 or 10 stitches left. Bind off all your stitches. Now onto the big reveal. I kind of messed up my panel because I stopped doing the cables when we started working on the neck shaping rows, so I might redo it because it's really bothering me, but nonetheless we are done with our body panels. In the next video, I'll show you how to knit up the sleeves. Please comment down below what part of the cardigan you're on, I'd love to know. Thanks for watching, bye!